Equipment maintenance program. There's a new contract with Specialty Underwriters to do service contracts through them. And we're supposed to be able to save 15 to 30% off of our contracts. And typically they go ahead, in most cases so far that I've asked them for quotes on, they will what we do is we do a contract with them, and when we need service we call them and they call the manufacturer and send the manufacturer in, and they pay the manufacturer on a time and materials basis. So they're estimating that the times that we have to call in for service are actually going to cost less than what we're actually paying them. And probably most of the time with most contracts it is. If you have applied biosystems instruments or if you have any instrument that gets an annual preventive maintenance call and the manufacturer typically calls you and says it's time, Specialty Underwriters can help set that up, can set up a similar type of reminder thing for you guys as well. We just need to let them know that we want that. So this is something people might want to, when you've got a contract that's expiring, give me a heads up, send me a copy of the quote you've gotten for the new year. Let's run it over to Specialty Underwriters and see if they can do it for us and save us any money. The one thing with the Applied Biosystems instruments, if you have the remote monitoring that they do, that's one thing that won't work through Specialty Underwriters. You would lose that. So in those cases, you'd probably want to go direct back. And there's actually been a couple of instances where I've sent them a quote, and they've said, you would lose this feature and this feature and this feature off your contract. So they're really pretty upfront with us and let us know that kind of information right away. These are the contact names. Again, no sole source justification required. So if you've got a $10,000 service contract with a non-contract vendor, we've got this is a contract and we don't have to do a justification. One of the other things is, again, they've already got the negotiated terms and conditions that are accepted. We had an instrument at South Lake Union that we thought we insured a year and a half ago. Not insured, we did a 5-year contract on. It was $15,000 for 5 years, and they sent it back and didn't want to accept the federal flow-down terms that are on our UWPOs. Those federal flow-down terms are mandated by the federal government when we use federal research money. We have no authority to modify those terms. Those are dictated by the federal government. And this vendor came back, it was actually GE, and they said, no, we won't accept those terms. Well, we're sorry, but your other divisions of your company have accepted these terms. Why are you guys not accepting them? And it went back and forth. We thought they had finally gone ahead and accepted it. We did put in a service call. They sent somebody out to repair it, and Rhea's trying to balance, figure out how much money's left in the budget, and she notices we've never been paid the first year. So she tries to call and get an invoice, and they say, well, there's no contract. What are you talking about? And so we go back and forth with them. Think it's resolved again. A few months later, same thing, still no invoice. And over a year went by, and it still wasn't, they were still, again, saying we won't accept those federal flow-down terms. So finally we got this contract with Specialty Underwriters, and I set up the contract with Specialty Underwriters. We called for service. GE came in. They'll take the terms and conditions from Specialty Underwriters that Specialty Underwriters uses because it's their terms and conditions, not the UW ones. So sometimes if you're having a vendor where they won't accept the UW terms and conditions, this might be a good way that we can get your instrument covered with a contract without having to spend as much time as Rhea and I had to spend on that one.
But it's still the people you want to come out. It's still the original.
Yes, it's still the original equipment manufacturer. I did learn that in the case of autoclaves, it may not be. They have some specific vendors that they prefer to use for autoclave repairs, but in most other cases, so far, in most of the other cases, it has been whatever vendor we prefer. They might offer us a third-party option if we're willing to look at it. But most of the time they'll send us the, if we say we want the original equipment manufactured, that's who they get. Here's some more information. This little website down here, if you go to that website, and then there's down under a how-to section, there's a PDF that'll pop open and show you like a bunch of the names. I thought I had it here. A bunch of the names of the vendors, manufacturers that they do business with, such as Affymetrix, Agilent, Amersham Pharmacia, Applied Biosystems, BD Biosciences, Beckman Coulter, Biotech Instruments, Brinkman, Carl Zeiss, Kendro, Mettler, Millipore, Molecular Devices, Olympus, Packard, PerkinElmer, QIAGEN, Roche, Savant, and the list goes on. So it's a pretty extensive list that we can probably get covered through this if we want to look at it.